Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video. Today's video we're going to cover the Superman and Lois final season. As we know, Superman and Lois, this is their last season. They got kind of dicked into being canceled by WB and by everything that was going on at CW, and I haven't really been keeping up with a whole lot of things that have been going on with the final season of filming, but as of yesterday, they were filming the final episode, and I just have a couple of pics to go over and some other little things to talk about within the video. But as for the show itself, it was a really good show. It came in strong. We had great acting, great story, even though there were change up with actors within the last couple of seasons as far as Jonathan Kidd's character was concerned. And we had Jordan Elsass leave, and then we had Michael Bishop come in and take over that role. And it was a little different, a little something to get used to, because I really enjoyed Jordan Elsass's take on Jonathan Kent. And then he left for personal reasons. He needed to take care of himself, which is all fine and everything. But I was really sad to see that character go. And then we have another actor come in who's come in and done a great job and everything. But here we are with the last bits of this show. No rumors, no talk of anything about it being saved, moved to another network, or anything like that. Nothing like HBO Max coming in to save it, because a lot of their stuff is being streamed on HBO Max due to the fact that they do have a lot of DC properties on that streaming service. But with this, we just I wanted to talk about the last episode, the title of it, and just expectations and what we could possibly see in this last season, if they're going to carry over some of the story that we saw last season. Because with the last episode of last season, we last saw was Superman and Doomsday fighting on the moon, and which is kind of ridiculous to say itself, but that was the last bit. That was the last clip that we saw of last season, was them charging at each other. So we don't know if there's going to be any kind of time jumps, any kind of just weird character or story development within this last season. But this last season is only 10 episodes, so it was cut short. And like I said, with everything that was going on at CW, and I'd done videos of this previously where there was budget cuts, there was actor cuts, and just it was skimmed down to the very, the smallest bit possible as far as budget and all this, because this show does involve a lot of special effects. And it was really sad to see some of those characters go. Some of them, I think, left permanently. Others were going to have come in for reoccurring guest roles and all that. But with this last one, I wanted to jump into these couple of pictures that we do have from the final days of filming and just talk about them for a minute, because we have a couple of pictures. The first one's just a shot of Tyler Hoechlin as Superman. He's looking pretty beat up. He's out there in the open and everything. Like I said, I have not kept up with what's going on with the story and whatnot, other than this season was really going to focus around Superman, Lois, their children, and Lex Luthor, played by Michael Cutlitz. And I don't know what direction they're going to go with the story, if they're going to kind of emphasize or dive into more what happened between Superman and Doomsday, if it's really going to be a major part of this last season, or they're, like I said, they could possibly do a time jump. I've heard talk about that. But again, we got this picture. He's just kind of strolling through an open area. Face is pretty beat up, so it leaves you to wonder, is he facing something else Kryptonian? Because Doomsday, in a sense, is Kryptonian, because he's made from Bizarro Superman, in this particular version anyways. But is some form of kryptonite being used against him? Is Lex Luthor fighting him with kryptonite? I really don't know how much of their story is going to be them revolving as far as in fight scenes and whatnot, what Lex Luthor is going to do to go up against Superman and Lois. And because they do have a very complicated history. And from what I've seen a lot of this season, we're still going to get some bits of the Smallville area around the Kent farm and whatnot. But I know a lot of the season is also supposed to take place back in Metropolis. So I'm wondering, what the plan is there and everything. But we got this first picture. The next one is kind of interesting, kind of makes you wonder what's going on, because of what it says and what it depicts as far as the downtown area of Smallville, what time period this is taking place in, or even if it's in the same universe, because these shows are not shy about jumping to different universes, and we know that this show in particular is separate from what we knew as the Arrowverse. The Flash, which ended last season, was the last bit of that universe, and that universe is now gone. There has been talk of bringing it back in some form or another, but I don't know if it's going to happen, especially on the CW. The CW, they're done. They're not going to do anything like this anymore. But this picture, we have a picture of John Henry Irons as we met him through the previous seasons. He is in his steel uniform. He has his giant hammer, but he is also showing the Superman logo. He's branding the S logo, and he's got the cape. And if you're not familiar with the comics, this is actually the steel version of Superman. So he takes on kind of a persona of Superman. And with the words above it, it says celebrating 25 years of Steelworks Industries. So this leads us to believe, is there going to be a time jump? Does this take place in a different universe? So that's very, both questions are very kind of up there in the air. Because with this too, I mean, is this during kind of a battle type area? Because we got the flipped over car and everything. You know, we have no idea what's going on. What's is going to be even mentioned of last season or previous characters that have since gone off. Because I believe we are going to get Lana, and I know her husband's or ex-husband, I guess, is coming back doing his parts, and I guess her kids, at least Sarah, she's going to be back for here and there. And because she had recently announced that she had wrapped filming, I don't know if it was in this episode or one of the previous ones, so I don't know how much of a part she really has as far as being in this, as well as the other characters that had since been dismissed. But it's all very interesting to see that we see this depiction of Steel Superman, John Henry Irons, and this mention of 25 years, because when we last left him, I think he was developing a company of sorts. And are they going to do a time jump of 25 years? I think that would be kind of nuts in itself. And so it's all very interesting, exciting, and just intriguing to what this all really means. Is this going to be, just kind of a way to close everything up because they're not getting any more seasons after this, because this story is being kind of cut short, so they're going to use a time jump to kind of close it out the way that they want to, the way that they think would be the proper way to do it. So I'm really excited to see how they do that, if they, who they're going to include. Are we going to get any cameos of any sorts? I'm not real sure who they could use at this point because, again, the budget was cut. So they're probably really keeping it close to home as far as what characters, what cast members are going to be involved in this final season. But we did get a snap from Elizabeth Tulick's Facebook. I guess she's called Bitsy. I did not know this. But this is a shot of the final script for the final season, and we do get an episode title called It Went By So Fast, which is, no shit, really, because it felt like this show premiered yesterday, and here we are, last season, last episode, and it feels like it could leave things kind of unresolved, but again, I think with the possible time jump that we might see, this is their way of making up for the fact that they're not getting this additional seasons of this show, and what they could do to bring it all to a close, give us some kind of closure as far as these characters are concerned. So we get this, and then we get another picture from her Facebook. It says, tried to take a normal first day filming Superman and Lois series finale selfie, but quickly ended up in tears. What a beautiful ride this has been. So grateful, especially to our crew. This final season has been tough physically and emotionally on everyone. I see you and how hard you are working. I am so appreciative of you all. So it's an unfortunate thing that this show is coming to an end because, as I mentioned, it had great writing. It had great character developments, great acting, and just all around it was one of the better shows that CW had done in years. We had a few of the other types of DC property, Gotham Knights. They tried that. It was terrible. I couldn't get past the first few episodes. Then they had the whole Winchester's thing, was just a alternate universe take on the supernatural universe and whatnot, and it was terrible as well. It was just awful. The only episode that was even worth watching was the final one, just because Jensen Ackles and a few of the other cast members from Supernatural were part of it. Other than that, it was complete trash, and I'm glad it got canceled. But getting back to Superman and Lois, again, it's sad to see this go, but if they can do it right, if they can give us a closure that is effective and doesn't leave any open ends, because, again, I don't think any shows like this, or the CW in general, is going to be approaching shows like this anymore. I think a lot of their scripted TV shows are done because it is under new management and they have a whole different viewpoint, a whole different idea of what they want to do for that channel, and it's not what it's been for the last almost 2 decades. So anyways, that's just a quick video I wanted to do about Superman and Lois and what is unfortunately the last season, the last episodes of what could have been a great show that could have ran for several more seasons, my opinion. And what Tyler Hoechlin did as Superman, as Clark Kent, It's something that we haven't seen for a long time. Honestly, I want to say he's up there with Tom Welling. Even though Tom Welling didn't technically play Superman, he just played a version of Clark Kent. They both did it in such a unique way that it was just something we needed as far as this character is concerned. And the fact that it was canceled just because James Gunn didn't want two competing Supermans in the same market was just the dumbest thing I'd ever heard. And, you know, he comes into this universe and he's trying to say it's going to be better than it ever was. But at this point, and I don't think I speak alone when I say this, I just don't care anymore. I don't care about this universe. They tried it so many years. We had several different versions of Superman and these other superheroes, Batman and all this and that. And at this point, I just don't care anymore. And maybe I'll see the new version of Superman, but it definitely won't be in theaters. And it will probably be years down the road after it's since been done filmed and it's on a streaming service somewhere. That's probably the only way I'll watch it. But I guess that will do it for this video. And if you enjoyed my little rant and just my viewpoints on these things, please leave a like, leave a comment, and of course subscribe to the channel. Help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers, and I would really appreciate it. So until next time, guys, take care. Bye.